JB here. Hope everyone's doing outstanding. Friday, December 20th, 2024, about 3:28. Hope everyone's doing outstanding. Talk really quick about the market, some names I'm looking at. Go from there. We take a look at the S&P. What a reversal today. Hit the lows right in the morning, 580.91 on the SPY. And I wouldn't say never didn't look back, but we had a nice little bump up to about 10:30, turned a little bit, then the next leg from 11 to about 12:30, and we hit highs. SPY broke over its 50-day moving average, all the way up to near 596 before pulling back. We're right here, 592. I'm hoping we hold this 50-day moving average, which is 589.41 now. So uh, I was talking on the rant this morning. I put on the watch list these reversals. I'm trying to remember some good ones over the years where we have sell-offs. There's fear. Headlines are all screaming, "Oh, here comes the bear market, correction, what have you." And then we open lower. Everybody thinks, okay, here it is. We're gonna accelerate to the downside, and then at some point it hits a switch. We reverse, and then we go from red to green, and that's what happened this morning. So good stuff here. Recouped a lot of the losses from Wednesday. So S&P is down like 1.75%. Same with the Nasdaq. The only unfortunate thing is the small cap still down lately, 4%. Dow's down 2%. So at some point we need a little consolidation and profit taking, or I guess I call it a greed reset. Looks like we got some of that. I'm still a little cautious here. As much as I'm looking at some of the names to try and grab some calls on, I'll probably wait into next week. And next week again, so it's a very short trading week. And I just hope, I want to see the small caps starting to go. Other things, so the U.S. dollars took it on the chin, so the gold spiked or rallied today. Yields are lower, so I mean that all bodes well. The headlines now is like, oh, markets rally on inflation data, but the PC data was almost like a non-event for so long, and it's like you think this one little data piece 2 days after the Fed meeting, it's backward looking, right? It's not December, it's November data, so it's already old data. We already had the CPI data, and pretty much every other metric. To me, it's like a relief bounce. So is it a relief bounce that's pretty much going to start the next leg to the upside? I'm a little, I guess I'm a little cautious, right? So I'm not. I was looking at some stuff today. I'm looking at Travelzoo, and I keep looking at it, and I had the 20 whatever the March. Well, I had the January 20s, and someone got filled on those. I had them at 90 cents or so, and someone got those. The spreads are wide, so it's impossible. So it's almost like frustrating. So I pull the orders, and then so I'll wait into next week to probably get some strikes. But yeah, that 50-day, hopefully that holds here today. And I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of chatter over the weekend. You already had some people writing these nice big in-depth pieces on what changed from Wednesday, right? The Fed cut rates as expected. And it all sounds great yesterday when we have Wednesday when we have the big sell-off, and then yesterday we had not a bounce, and then overnight the future is selling off. Like, oh, here we go again. But a lot of folks, if you're playing for downside, it's tough, right? So anyway, all right. So now I don't have all my charts here. So now individual names, and first I'll talk about Shopify. And of course, in hindsight, when the stock traded down to 104 this morning, I could have locked the last of my puts in for over $6 or so from 30 cents, so nearly 2,000% gain. But I only had a couple left. I still wanted to be in a situation where I had hedges just in case there was a pop in the morning, and then we reversed to new lows. So once I got I wouldn't say confirmation, but once the SPY started to go, and then we were right near that 585 handle, then that's when I went and locked the rest of my shop calls in for nearly 1,300%. So thankful to have that hedge. Of course, some of the other names I'm in have taken on the chin, so it helps to offset losses and at least allow to have some capital to deploy in other positions. But definitely a name if there is weakness next week, certainly a name I'll look for, because then on the flip side, once we had that bounce, I said, wow, the 110 calls are inexpensive on a risk reward basis. The stock was at 107. It's still early in the morning, so I went and got those spec calls and able to close some out for 100% within a half hour or so. Also Palo Alto. So that one, it was 188 or so at the open, all the way down to 186. I was able to close some of those out for over 100%. And then it went on to rally. And then by the time it started to move, the last of my spec puts, I'm just going to hold them as a hedge, right? So Another name I'll continue to watch for possible opportunities, maybe into next week. But I know a lot of folks, is this is it over, right? Is that, are we done? Can we come out now? Is it over? I, I'm still not on that fence yet. So, uh, for me, a close over the 50-day today for the SPY would bow well into next week. But for some reason, it doesn't look like it's going to happen here. We have 27 minutes left. All right, so that's that. So then some other names, and take a look at Solar Edge this week. Just crazy stuff. So it hasn't closed over its 50-day moving average. I have to go scroll back since the summer, probably longer than that. And today, the 50-day moving average is 1480. So we got to close over that today. As much as I want to go and add some more strikes there, my calls were actually green for a little bit this morning. I'll be patient there, but if we do get a continuation next week, and is this the start of folks? The tax law selling season is kind of like waning, and people have already taken those off the table, and now they'll do the reverse and start looking for opportunities. I could be a name that really starts to squeeze, and then you look, and it's hit resistance. Started December at $16. Looked like it was going to break into it a couple days ago, and almost did it again today. If that 16 breaks, I think it's $20 off to the races. So that's Solar Edge, Square and Roku. They're still up. So Square's up nearly 2%. It was over $90 for most of the day, but it was over $90 yesterday before pulling back. So kind of frustrating there. I'll still be patient on that name. Roku had a bid all the way up to 82 in the morning, and then it's pulled back. Now it's back under $80. Still like those names. At some point, there'll be another catalyst here for Roku. That looks like that's probably what it needs. Clear Secure is up today, so still tight Bollinger Band set up. It was up a little more, but it's still up 3%, 26 and change. Once that gets over 28 and holds, I'm going to add some more strikes. I'm trying to think. Lemonade looked like it was going to start to squeeze again today. It is up. It's still up 9%, but again, another name that once that starts to get going, I think it's going to be over $60. But I think a lot has to go right next week, right? We have to get back to where we were for the last couple of weeks, where you had tight trading ranges, consolidation, and just tough. So I was doing the math on some of these. I was trying to get the amount of the trading ranges we've had in December, and a lot of them are 0.3%, 0.4%, 0.5%, and then today we have an over 3% trading range on the S&P, right? And what has changed? Just the comments from Powell. That's sometimes the market drives. Well, I wouldn't say drives me nuts, but sometimes it's like tough for me to wrap my head around. Like a company like Broadcom, right? So it's sitting at $180 into earnings, and then it's up like 30 or 40% over the course of a couple of days just from its earnings and comments. And that's like hundreds of billions of dollars in market cap. So I'm like, wow, the market had Broadcom wrong by hundreds of billions of dollars in valuation, So it's getting revalued by that much just because the market had it wrong. So it's the same with Fed Chair Powell. Like I don't think everybody had it that wrong. I think it was some of it, some of it was fear, right? So once we started to snowball, then people start hitting the panic button. That's what caused the VIX to go nutty. I just hope this is it. We can find some support. SPY closed over that 50-day moving average, which looks like we're going to do right now. We've got 24 minutes. And that's that, folks. Have a great weekend. I'll be back on audio. Rock and roll.